There's this one fundamental question that sits at the heart of pretty much everything we think and do. And it's this: how do we see ourselves in relation to the world? Are we just visitors here, kind of passing through? Or are we something more? Seriously, how you answer that one question changes absolutely everything. And it really all boils down to a choice between two profoundly different ways of seeing things. This isn't just some abstract philosophical game, right? This is a choice that really shapes our actions, our relationships, and even our own sense of peace. So, think of it like this. On one side, you've got the observer view. From this angle, we're visitors. The world is this separate thing, something we might need to control or maybe even fear. But then there's the other side, seeing ourselves as participants. And in that view, we're not visitors at all. We're family. The world isn't separate from us. It is part of us, and it's inherently sacred. And here's the real kicker. The source material suggests that a ton of our modern problems, environmental crises, all the division, that general sense of being out of sync, you can trace so much of it back to that first column. It comes from that feeling that we're fundamentally separate from everything else. Okay, so if that's the problem, how do we start to shift our perspective? Well, this leads us to this really beautiful and powerful idea from the philosopher Alan Watts. He offered a totally radical way to reframe our place in the universe. Let's just let that sink in for a second. We do not come into the world, we come out of it. I mean, wow, that just completely flips the script, doesn't it? We're not aliens who just happen to land on some foreign planet. No. We are an expression of this planet, as natural as a leaf growing on a tree. And Watts took this idea even further. He had this great line. He said that just like an ocean waves, the entire universe peoples. Think about that. We aren't something that just happened to the universe. We're something the universe does. We're a function of the entire cosmos. There's actually a great word for this concept: emergence. It's this simple but incredibly profound idea that we grow out of creation. We emerge from it. We're not outsiders looking in through a window. We are part of the very fabric of existence itself. But what's so fascinating is that this idea of emergence, it's not new, not by a long shot. In fact, you can find it deeply embedded in some of the oldest Western wisdom traditions. Just take a look at this verse from Genesis. It says, humanity was formed of dust from the ground. It doesn't say we were beamed down from another dimension or anything like that. No, it says we were made from the very stuff of the earth. So what's the takeaway here? Well, this ancient text is painting a picture of us as being totally inseparable from creation. We literally arise from it, woven from the same material. I mean, that's emergence, described thousands of years ago. And this idea of interconnectedness just keeps echoing through time. Centuries later, it pops up again in the incredible vision of St. Francis of Assisi, and it complements this idea just perfectly. See, for St. Francis, the world wasn't just a collection of resources or a bunch of objects to be used. It was a community. It was his family. And that simple shift from seeing nature as an it to seeing it as your kin, well, that changes everything. And you see this so clearly in his famous prayer, the Canticle of Creatures. He doesn't just appreciate the sun. He calls it brother sun. It's sister moon, brother wind, sister fire. He's describing a cosmic family where every single thing has its place and a sacred relationship to everything else. Ultimately, what the Franciscan vision really is this powerful celebration. It's celebrating the amazing idea that everything is sacred and everything is connected. We really are all just leaves from the same enormous tree. Okay, so what's the big takeaway here? Why does this shift from seeing ourselves as separate to seeing ourselves as connected? Why does it actually matter in our day-to-day lives? Well, let's connect the dots. When we start with a mindset of separation, it almost inevitably leads to disharmony and struggle with nature, with each other, you name it. But if we start from a mindset of connection, that opens the door to something totally different. It leads to peace, awe, and a really deep reverence for life. You see, when we truly embrace that we are participants here, not just observers on the sidelines, the positive ripple effect is huge. It strengthens our connection to the spiritual, to the natural world, and maybe, most importantly, to one another. And this all leads to a really powerful conclusion. Honoring the world around us isn't just a nice environmental thing to do. It's a deeply spiritual act. When we care for creation, we are caring for the divine presence that flows right through it. So I want to leave you with this question. If we really, truly accept that we come out of the world, not into it, that we are as much a part of creation as a leaf on a tree, what's one thing that might change for you tomorrow?